welcome, once more, to my top 100 animated series worldwide. A long look over a list of animated series I have worked down since 2019. One big step, while 50 leaps at a time. Will try to explain myself as briefly as possible on how the video thematic works, but you can still skip at this timestamp to go past it, where I will be covering my impressions, where I can recall of the premise, and I give out my theory depending on the tones of confirmation, denials, and whatever more addition I want to feel like weight. Of non-Japanese only shows for diversity's sake, two American properties are a dominant factor. We'll explain this point further in the future. From either professional to indie productions, and any that I could find at least one person that acknowledges it positively, most cases my own, and secondly my first thought knowing almost nothing of them. But what I do know is that even if I already seem like a pointless run for an age-long goal, I do it more for the experience, to experiment and practice in presentation, artistic direction, vocal expression, and what not so quality and execution can improve in a trial and error experiment. So your feedback in my, and this is important, my own opinions on the show at hand. Not absolute, non-questionable, or even right, just made to entertain. So as much as you are free to decide or decide what you like, this ranking was never meant to be taken other way than the word of a random person in this platform, like you, or I, can have. And that perspective was kind of what started it all, as back so long ago, working social media as any at this point, in an account which I have no real use for, I encountered an interesting post that, without realizing, will change my perspective of the medium without returning back. Castlevania 2017. It's a retelling of a past era from the lineage, or an alternate universe, the show still holds the same premise as the franchise is known for, the Beaumont against Dracula, but diving into more depths than what is seen in the retro screen. Treasons, curses, apathy, cruelness, and a great amount of dismemberments. I will follow the hero of the story, travel Maimon Hornet to revive his family name, while also covering the aftermath of a chain of bad decisions and what's left for the world as the King of the Night loses his heart. Amazing choreography and moves in action, great storytelling, and the characters can stand the ground both alone and in groups. Wherever you are into the franchise or an outsider that can't tolerate gore, it's a great view for any fitting viewer that wants a show for an adult demographic. For it, yes. Bionic Titan. A princess, a soldier, and a robot ward from an alien planet escape at the turning of 10. Now seeking refuge in a planet where they can go undercover as the local preteens, place where she gets caught and assaulted by giant monsters that force them to come out of hiding. However, they do have a way to fight back. Fusing their advanced battle armors under Mucha Man, the three can form the Symbiotic Titan. It doesn't feel like nothing new as it recycles many tropes seen and exploited by the genre, but the execution is unique. Either by the character interactions, narrative, resolution, or the final conflict, it goes in depth and care in many parts to which at least one aspect it offers will connect with you. Then or now. Favorite? Yes. Animaniacs 1993. The Warner Bros. Triple siblings that nobody is proud to call the mascot. More than anything for being more far-fetched than the title could recall and doing much more chaos than the company will even dare when any of the properties they own. You can get to it in the get-go as a newbie. You need to either grow with your parents' internal humor, or feel a full-on geek to enjoy half the humor as 40% is a reference to things back then, 35% is actually cartoony lunacy, and the other 25% is build-up that crosses a lower reference for a cartoony pushline. It relies a bit too much on popular culture, I say, so some gags may not hit as intended for needing the joke be explained to you. For it? No, didn't watch. Ben-Zero, Part-Time Hero. Everyone to step up and be the hero for today, but if you will mess up anyway? Good news! Somebody can do it for you while you still get the credit. For free! Psychic and mentor included, free of charge. Disclaimer, does everyone cover any collateral damage that may occur during your absence? How do I start? This is like an anthological series where it needs to be episodic, but a production contract demands build up to a continuous story, and thus I three aspects flawlessly. However, it is impossible to be balanced. One aspect may stand above the other two and leave the bad mouth test. But what each thread builds for, alongside what the show offers per season finale, is precious in its own right. For it, yes! Chowder. Chowder is a Japanese Mundale, an experienced but not really popular owner of a food delivery service, which accompanied by Snitcher, his second hand, and Truffles, administrator, wife, and most importantly, cashier, will teach your purple glutton to cook a exquisite recipe in a world full of wackiness in every corner. Disconnect, grab something to eat, and enjoy a sweet sight while trying your hardest not to gag with every bite. It doesn't take itself seriously, and that is its fault, as between the 4 it do what it wants, the stronger the episode develop. Last season was wacky, but the finale was whack. Right? Yes. Shaolin Showdown. 4 young monks apprentice and chosen protectors of the Shengon Wu are tasked to recover these ancient artifacts from many evil hands of all levels and new foes, as these are reappearing along the globe each passing day, growing stronger and grabbing their own secret potential as a team. Nostalgic, and what I would write, as the majority of the cast are written deeply and consistent for the biggest enjoyment, to will up the random comic gimmicks each gadget and opponents can revert to. Then season comes and eye of that gets drawn out to the windows who used to tell new story. Yeah, it has charm, but gets dirty as it gets along, mostly for the notorious favoritism in the cast. Dude, I don't even really care for token Americans, because why would I? But I feel so bad for how badly Lego handled as they went on. The Miami episode is straight up the only time he shines ever. Him! The fourth protagonist! It's genuinely sad. Whatever the case, still worth a shot. For it? Yes. Duck Dodgers. A retake on the Looney Tunes classic, but now with an even more exaggerated premise, but still grounded to be something in modern times. Just hard to root for the charming dog protagonist doing antics that harms the innocent assistant pig that you want to do the right thing, and still rewarded as the best agent around, somehow. The writing is all over the place. You more the lines in the get-go, and no needs to fill the rest of the episode with a plot, or it becomes so complicated that starts you from realizing it's wasting time to reach the 22-minute mark. Most times, in both cases, occurs time to the arrogance of the protagonist. This comes from seeing a really smart clip of the show back in the day, and a review of that special guest star episode. For it? No. Didn't watch. Fillmore. An ex-troublemaker chooses the correct path in the school hall, accompanied by his friend Guarape Luke to partner up. This duo look out in hopes to stop running from a fair detention. Every varies becomes inspired to the regular student life, if not outside of the bars too. Unique? Not because no one else has done a premiere like this, but people are scared to do so for the demographic and I don't get it. A mystery show where comedy works, plus several young audiences, get the studio shivering they don't get it or something? Anyway, if you want to start somewhere to get into the genre of criminal cases detention, this is perfect. For it? No. Didn't watch. Recommended. El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. Manny was granted the Tiger Belt, an amulet that made him become El Tigre. But what exactly does that mean? A symbol of heroism, or a warning from a wannabe villain? Well, it's so for Manny to decide if he wants to become like his dad or grandpappy. A choice he could take if he stopped wasting time alongside his best friend Frida doing what kids in a Mexican-inspired city do, but to the extreme. If you have followed this top too far, you would think I should have connected what the show for both the premise and setting it takes place in. But I didn't, I don't really know why. Perhaps because I got so focused on how hypnotizing the cartoon is and how explosive it is to actually connect to it, and in the other way than, the show is funny, I like it. For it? Yes. Mucha Lucha. Where wrestling is not only a sport, but a way of life. Ricochet, alongside his two best friends, attend a wrestling school to become legends in and out of the ring. While adversaries of any shape, tone, or skill, when the bell rings, it's time for Mucha Lucha. I don't want to say it's a relic of its time, but you can sense it in the way they talk, interact, or the premise itself as how, even if there's still attempts at it, no many will care for the genre nowadays. yet is still reaching many other things. Fight scenes, jokes, design, setting, so on, which if it wasn't clear, was a watch given the time. For it? Yes. Kim Possible. Kim is a public special agent that protects the peace, but worries most in living her double life of a popular teen. But in both cases, she isn't alone, as she comes with the help of her childhood best friend Unstoppable and little one Rufus. Well, help if they don't get much into the way, of course. I'm pretty sure the contract stated for kids only, and all the people behind it were freaked out and made both the main characters enjoyable for any demographic, giving the same perspective to what the main two villains do and working like a dime. You look how far his drone went to prove one stance. And if it doesn't, at least have to notice how much of a hit for the production company it was back in the day. For it? No, didn't watch. Daria. A growing teen that used her Sascam as cynicism more than a form of protection to the ever-changing world around her. Daria used those as much as said word does to her back. I'm not sure how to catalog it, as in if for mature or adult audience, but you know the comedic connection it has rubs you differently than any other media used by the previous categories. It's not meant to be educational, but the way it expresses the issues a daily teen can encounter gives you something to think about, either for yourself or the ones living at her. What do you mean she had two boyfriends? And stole the second from her best friend? For it? No, didn't watch. Nico and the Sword of Light. Nico is part of an invocation lineage serving a captured kingdom that wishes to be liberated from the hands of the frozen that betrayed them. Issue is, Nico is the last one to be broken, and as he adventures out, being still a green pea, or hero becomes troubled, and for such, using the last option, the princess of the kingdom, Lyra, takes physical action to finally take back her home to the righteous place. Along the way the party grows bigger, while Flicker and Mandoc, as they hate various residents of the world, obscured by their sorcerer evil reign. I can put into words what this show means to me, but what the difference in quality between seasons or about how the protagonist's overarching positively affected mine, changing my view of things in a better light. It will totally have a different effect to you, but still worth a lot. Favorite? Yes. Villainous. Lord Hater. What? Go keep this. Pareces esquizofrénico. Tú lo hiciste. Lord Black Hat is renowned, by itself of course, as the evilest darkness to ever exist. However, is willing to expand his business to the smaller fish so his world can be expanded further to the world, or worlds. However, he can do it on his own, for some reason, and has his own lucky to do the annoying work for him, dementia, flu, and 505, as well as a variety of commercial and tutorial videotapes to get along with it. Which again, why? The quality of the dark humor, funny enough, goes a long way when the show not only was given free will at her content, on the commercial rules of course, but also what the entire catalog of the company IPs to WorldWide as a promotional material, where everything the show do is humiliate them to no end, making itself seem as the only one that has a good reputation. It's of the greatest power moves I have seen put into motion inside an animation too far. Nothing has gone this close to the franchise potential of entertainment, as the full show does too, on a lower scale, but what the quality still let loose. Please watch! I implore you! Okay, the expression doesn't really make a reference to it, but during the production of the video, I've been watching a series which highlights a regime that use a similar expression than the community has taken as more of a joke. I don't mean it, but hope you understand I don't feel comfortable saying it right now. So, yeah. Fight, guess. League of Super Evil. A group of nobodies, when they decided they wanted to be taken more seriously and formed LOSA. But having no previous experience or a budget, they just go along with what they think is every word of the time, towards everyone's annoyance of course. The premise can stand out on its own, but the execution is nothing special. It has overly special posing and interesting design, even if most take an inspiration in trying to parody the already scholastic hero media. But out of that, it got barely something to stand on their own. For it? Yes, not recommended. Cow and Chicken. Two siblings, Chicken as the oldest son and Cow as the youngest daughter, work to adapt into a normal kid's life. Just that the show know how bonkers that system is, and just draws what? Anything, really. Need to admit, it's a crazy mess by this time. Not because it can be enjoyed anymore, but rather because it focused so much on the tendencies and social standards people had back then, it tries to connect directly to their audiences from those times, giving you a different vibe coming from the show after some episodes in. It's for anyone if worth a watch, really. Fight? No. Rabbits Invasion was supposed to be a subspecies of underdeveloped anto-rabbits appearing out of thin air, exploring and comprehending the surroundings and what the present has to offer, is taken more as a sign of an invasive species than anything else. Scientists now play ramen and only knew of him through rabbits, and it was until Origins I knew he had his own IP, so yeah, you can say what IP I had a higher price for. But for the show, it's a simple cartoonish take of sanitizing modern tendencies with a surreal approach using non-coherent interactions, aka a good portrayal of the games. The slow pace may be what makes the viewer stop them from giving it a good eye, but it's simply a chaotic fun time. And if you grew up around to care for the media, boy if it's rewarding. Right? Yes. Super Science Friends. A team/revolution in industrial terms formed by the greatest man in history, but not exactly at their peak, but between the before and after, are against different kind of forces, groups, and foes that will harm the vision of the very scientific future humanity deserves. Well, worse than what people already see it as. It's been a while since I saw it. Of the older web series, I can recall Pirotti's account live. Well, that's a statement. Of what I can recall, they utilize being an indie and not a media in their favor. Not for the hash topic touches or how it presents itself as, but rather because it's hard to promote a premise like theirs. Getting the viewers' interest can only work reaching a certain group that understands what the premise even parodies. And going online felt like the right choice to reach more directly to their audiences, but apparently not so much to have a stable production. Yet still able to be enjoyed by a decent demographic. For it? No. Recommended. Caution. I'm not sure if something happening behind the scenes, and so I'm not sure who owns the right of the IP nowadays. So to clarify, my stance reflects my view on the product itself, at least for this case. Fangboom. A shared barbarian from another dimension where the Lord Tolen is sent to another realm where a regular boy will help him while he duty in protecting the big toe of an evil sorcerer that shouldn't require it at all cost, or else will gain back his full potential, facing gruesome monsters and living a daily disturbing life in the middle of it all. Saw it later on in my life, but from time to time had the feeling I would let this off it younger, so perhaps fulfilling on being naive to the demographic. But what took me for surprise was how well crafted they played the most serious or character focused episodes. Not so much to ignore as an action comedy industry show, but focused enough to reward the viewer. It's a show made with a thanks to spectators like you vibe. In fact, nice. Recommended, but only on the terror mindset, or if in the right demographic. For it? Yes. The Mask. The new adventures, with the same style that never ages, of a ferocious beast you can see dressed right, called The Mask. From a regular life to a smoking smile, this anti-villain will do what it feels like to do if nobody steps to stop his dance. Which by the show standards happens like a... It makes you realize what makes Jim Carrey movies so iconic. It plays well what it tries to sell you, but don't get any ideas. It doesn't go far from what you will see in a random morning cartoon segment at 10-11 AM on a random Tuesday. For it, no. Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. After returning from a superhero career that may or may not have happened, the show is too lazy to specify. Harvey Birdman got for a more fulfilling life choice, forcing you to do the war, if the feds can pay for the truth. The show utilized many other Hanna-Barbera properties to mock either themselves or the sit and use it they say what you see, na 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 na. The fight pacing rubs me the wrong way at times, but even without it, I don't get a lot of jokes. But when I did get it didn't last as much as it should have, as I already saw them in clips and promo material, pero giving a series a shot. I don't know, Morta making puns and push it to their own IPs, the show really has much to offer that you can't find anywhere else. Perhaps the cast interaction, but I just being picky. For it, no. Pinky and the Brain. Two lab rats, one of the better results than the other, lives inside a lab cage where every night, the smart one formulates an ambitious plan that will lead them to conquer the world. Move failure after failure, the other one goal is to get his friend back. Making you wonder to yourself, the names are clear, but who is really the successful one of the group? Ni close same dynamic than Animaniacs, but there's an actual premise behind them. It has you to make you care for these smart rodents that gets their ass beat at the end of each episode. Quite deserved for their goal not being that great, but still making you feel for them when it happens. The softest take to an evil lead we have yet. For it, yes. Kappa Mikey. An aspiring, if ever wanted to be it at all, actor gets a miraculous one in forever chance of being the lead in a popular Japanese show named Lily Moo, a win-win ticket to make it go international. But doing so creates problematics around the cast and actually giving the role to the art, the workplace, and overall the considered the not so softly parody of Japanese animation reception it got it was back then, fanbase fanatism? Let's go with that. Didn't manage much growing up with it, but after I watched years later, I discovered it is surprisingly stable. What a killer intro! It's an episode experience, so can be expected much of it. From a point forward, the quality drops hard. But that's a plus, as when it wants to go with a more deep approach to someone or a thematic, they deliver it magistrally. Parody or not, the theater, Christmas, and karaoke episodes are an splendid opposition to my point. You just need the appropriate approach. Watching the show, in short. For it? Yes! The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. A free spirit and his little adopted friend/sibling, Miles Tells Prower, live his pacific life at the speed of sound in Mobius. Award an evil scientist, Dr. Robotnik, and his buffon invention of assistant want to conquer over. A disastrous situation unless the blue board is there to help it. Sadly, without clue it was supposed to be inspired on the games, I knew this existed, but didn't know which game the cartoon proceeded of. So I need to say, pre-knowing and after are two completely different vibes. As before you had you watched them, paid off, when I showed you wanted to pay attention to what this spike in shoes could be. As in a thank you to the franchise. But after, you got complaints on, is that how they work? Why? What I wanna say, it's a stable cartoon, but an unstable marketing campaign to the franchise. For it, yes. Sonic Boom. A new retake on the franchise with a different approach on the setting, characters, all the new, and overall story, which plays straight up as plain, impulsive, and non-existent in that order. But hey, action comedy. What else can you ask for? Easy answer? A lot. Made as a tie into the game, it became the most successful media of the two in the recent years. But not because for being like hiding gem, no. Rather for averting people's expectation of it, both back then and currently. Nothing new, nothing greater, just a show with a bit of charisma with the writing. I despite the cartoon character's color palette. A lot. Favorite? No. Dexter Laboratory. Title about genius, believes, proven to, but more about the pride than deserve, to be the greatest around. However, no one close to him believes he that much as him. Will she take a hurt sometimes? So instead of wanting to use it for something, I don't know, productive, his young heart yearning admiration goes out his way to show what he knows, but in demonstrating, he has much to learn. Also has a lot of superhero tie-ins too, and like, okay? Surprisingly not a unique in the genre protagonist genre. An annoying family, perhaps not a popular trope now, but there's history, but the execution was what made it a hit. Nobody did it like this, as in, The good premise was an entertaining green pass. Just not for everyone, it's an objective audience. For it? Yes. Over the garden wall. A big grumpy older brother wants to get back home and bring safe his naive yet positive younger brother that just wants to have a fun time with him. Being accompanied by attacking Bluebird that also wants to get home, their partnership serves as a mutual guide towards a path across an ever-aging and mutant forest. Even though anyone can get to it whenever, it's advised to eat it in a weather or place with resembles the setting as it improves drastically, positively, the exposition to the show and what it aims to, and since it's aimed to be one season, it's worth the time, 100% guaranteed. Yet somehow, it never connected with me, not as in a team, scenario or character, for a reason I can't pinpoint anywhere. It just didn't. For it? No. Recommended. Shaun the Sheep. It says some pets have a double life when the owner is away. So what about a wild herd? More than adventurous, the show follows a young sheep called Shaun and his herd finding ways to have fun around the regular bar. If the guardian dog ain't much a party pooper, perhaps they can visit the cities too. I want to say it's simplistic for the episode dynamic, but the violence execution gives a really good charm to it. You can't really grow on the character much without the classic, oh, cute. As well my human felt sword and plain, justified for not being a focus, but still. Favorite? Yes. Time Squad. An orphan boy joins, somehow, a robot and a special agent from the future dedicated in protecting the timeline from anomalies in history, but hardly things go as expected, or get fixed as leave it to time. I really like the little details of growing attachment between Otto and Larry during his run, but need to admit that Shaun lays with book dumbness. For everything else that composed the show, it's alright. Guess it's rather enjoyable when you know about history, or nothing at all, but can still get engaged in the field. For it? Yes. Rugrats, I Grown Up. A continuation / retake on the baby show, literally, to the 10 current and adjusting times the spectators that grew what the franchise are now, living a daily teen life as any other. Personally preferable than the previous incarnation, even if it was more original and better experimental premises, it's completely more tolerable to see. And if you grow attached to the characters as I did, they do them quite a good justice. But of course, they grew up, and not everything will stay the same. For it? Yes. El Chavo Animated, a retake of the Mexican humoristic teleperformance of a debatably houseless orphan young kid resident in a small neighborhood with a colorful and charismatic cast of characters. So let's see what adventures this new programming has for us. And apparently from a point forward, not so much to be liked, or so he said. From what I saw in the start, it was fun to watch, but that was when I was around the demographic age. Recently we saw a few instances of a more recent episodes, and I can tell the critics aren't biased, sadly enough. For it? No. Legends Quest. A young adventurer from older times is happy with his regular life in a small village. However, he has a special trait of being able to see mythical and supernatural beings, some becoming close partners and others helpful in their own right. However, when a terrible curse invades his hometown, he now needs to adventure to great depths around the world to veer paths into a better future. So much passion and respect not only into what is shown, but what can be done with the premise. The greatest policy for the story, interaction, twist, background, global myths is incredibly crafted while ambitious yet well done animation. It's full of charisma, but I refuse to acknowledge Master of the Mist as Season 2. That thing is its own separate bag of nonsense. For it? Season 1, yes. Season 2, no. Jackie Chan Adventures. A really fortunate and physically capable archaeologist is recruited to help his childhood friend in his undercover job in Area 13, identifying, discovering, and recovering mysterious artifacts that grant magical power to the user before they fall into the wrong hands. However, need to do so while also having his hands full taking care of his niece from overseas in vacation and his grand-uncle pawn shop, both also being helpful, somewhat, in his mission, but most times against his better judgment. Luckily for him, there's always something that comes useful with their hands. Based on the real-life person vision of a cartoon he wishes he grew up with, utilizing all the mediums possible to make it the cartoon ever. There's so much to love of the show that you have to see to live it. But even if you don't, see the fish Jackie vlog? Yes, he does like a Q&A at the end of every episode, from the first episode, and he will tell you exactly why I love the show, why I'm a mate. Favorite? Yes! Justice League Unlimited. Everyone is able to do anything, but that doesn't mean anyone is capable of doing everything, so even the best around will need a backup. Exploring the potential and history of Detective Comics, it's up to the show to show us how the world can grow having people to admire to. Never grew attached to watch superheroes, and even if I remember as outdates, can't recall if it helped or wasn't in my case. You feel it as one more, and you know the product isn't just that and it's crafted marvelously by what it was given. This incarnation of Barrio, and did well showing what it wanted to be, but when it comes to me, I don't see none of that. Sorry, not sorry. Favorite? No. Timon and Pumbaa. As the duo gained popularity during the movie run, it seemed like a good idea to produce a media just for the two, or at least another try to it, but knew there was barely potential for it to stand on their own, so for a miracle, the writers were given green light to the wackiest idea known to men. And for this duo case, WorldWide Whack. A relic of its time. The writing files too slow compared to current times, writing an episode show focusing on a specific theme, location or characters. But not so much to take away the credit to the show's essence of not just existing to be tied to the movie franchise. As the duo, even though the portrayal doesn't make sense if they just exist on their own per se, their synergy as a goofy pair works well enough to sell it. Favorite? Yes? Neighbors from Hell. In this world, demons are better socially stable than the ones above, but when their livelihood gets threatened when an old company wants to drill down too far, a regular demon considered the best adapt to human life, after watching human programming, a form of torture, in job hours, is forcefully sent, and his family, to stop them from the inside. I mean, I will admit I saw it way younger than when I should, but still watching now to know this ain't that special, but still made enough impact for me to not get that invested in any more adult demon media that comes around. For it? No. Mr. Bean Animated. A retelling of a live-action show that felt a rather to cartoonish in its own right, but hey, it felt the misadventures of a grown man living with his teddy bear in an apartment complex needing more exposure. Be my guest. I don't want to say it lacks in comparison, but it kind of does. Same quality in people interaction, action sequences, scenario choreography, but you ain't gonna see the version shooting a gun, or being a dude of aliens. Just my grown-founded what is in cartoonish logic seen in the previous incarnation. For it? No. Hi Hi Puffy and Yumi. A two-girl band from Japan are doing their either Occidental or Global Tour, alongside the greedy and a bit of a lazy manager and person the trademark boss, mostly enjoy the visit to different colorful places, if their fame doesn't stick in their way. I agree with it, but nothing stuck with me and that's telling me of it. I remember liking the characters, watching even marathons, but can't recall anything from it. Songs, jokes, character traits, nothing. Perhaps because it wasn't for me? Don't know, sadly. For it? No. Recommended. Two Stupid Dogs. A big and a kind, and a short and energetic duo of dogs aren't the sharpest one in 10 bulldogs, but still know how to live on their fullest, or at least try to, having random encounters at every corner. Never seen, so can't say much. Just that I vibe with the background colors, shapes, and then being the grandparents that leave way too many, and I mean many, animated shows for the network, so at least it worth remembering, but as a product, nothing special. For it? No. Didn't watch. Richie Rich 1981. The daily life of the richest kid to ever exist may not be as comfortable as anyone would guess, as spending it needs more work than expected if it doesn't pay off. So all this charming like wants is to brighten everyone's day. So let's see what this kid and his friends wants to do today. Grew worried. Can't recall very well what caught my attention of it at all. Likely for the animation and all the happiness thrown by everyone in the cast. Mostly Irona. Still love back at it with nostalgia. But also know it didn't age well enough to be relevant in many aspects. So in fact, a relic. Favorite? No. Casper, the friendly ghost. Not to confuse with spectacular adventures, as it was a short-lived exposition to previous film or new things that was adapted to be shown on TV, or for friendly ghosts that just want to have friends. A solid embodiment, a ghostly fella, a spooky lad, or a fantastic pal to have around, it always varies what the show. Can't remember much of it, more than I own a random CD of it as a toddler, but I'm sure it was the best one of them all. Sadly forgotten by time, and as such, after many attempts to renovate it, so does the IP currently. For it? No. Generator Rex. After an experiment went wrong, and a gigantic explosion occurred, the world got infected by a nanobacteria called nanite, which have the chance to mutate the genes of any biological individual into Evos. Society started to adapt this evolution, and one day a gigantic Evo appeared in Mexico, which, when defeated, a young child with amnesia surged from the crumbles, discovered as the origin of the plague, and the first one to be able to reverse the Evos. So now, under the Providence tutorship, Rex Salazar utilized his miracle and his mechanical morphing skills to balance the world once and for all. Outstanding premise and execution. It has rich background and wants to sell itself as a story-driven show only, but adds really well-set stories that bring a lot of character to the cast, as well to bring a living and breathing world building over just saying, problem here, here and here, let's go. It's crafted in a neat fashion and the action evolves over time too. A fantastic work. For it? Yes! The Super Secret Squirrel Show. A reboot show about the mission of the best squirrel second agent around, and his small sidekick. However, now with the addition of another squirrel girl to help in the silence, I didn't think no known or hidden secret evil organization can stop. Showrun was still standing as top 5 reboot made by Hanna-Barbera fans, at least for the Antrocast cases. I didn't watch much, but by just looking at the show, it brings me a smile to my face. Can't tell much why, more than for the art direction, and maybe the color schemes. It feels warm to the eye. Everything else is unknown to me. For it? No. Ship in the big city. A ship goes to a big city and needs to evade the government to not be used as a battery to a war and ray or something. Yet the narrator isn't that happy about the plot either. But hey, it sells and it pays off. Sometimes. I don't know if I randomly grew my fish hatred bomb or what, but I have it engraved in my mind this show was the first time in my life I cringed at something. A first in having second-hand embarrassment towards what I was being aware of. Don't know why or when, but it did. Anyways, saw fragments of it here and there, and it's a decent show. Not relevant in current times or trends, but still sounds strong enough. But in humor and inspiration. But in this case, the narrator. A ship is the heart, the genre is the mind, and the soul of it all, really. For it? No. World Quest. A young and narcissistic prince and his 2-year-old bodyguard need to defeat a big bad for something, recover his right to throne perhaps, intervene to save the world, or whatever, while growing in partners to help them out along their quest. It felt the story driven by how the party grew per episode, and some plans that the villains did feel like they live afterwards, yet this used episodic action all around. A good one, not of quality, but more than decent to pass the time, and merrier when shared with someone else they give much to talk about, good or bad. For it? No, didn't watch. The Excess. The members of a family that trained their entire life to be the top secret agents around their area need to keep it under, so now they need to go down for the hardest mission yet. Be a decent group of people that lives as an ugly family to not raise suspicion. Of the ones I'm genuinely sad is only destined after so long to be forgotten. If I'm for lost, yet no streaming or physical media will even dare to look their way anymore, and who's a bit to realize it will keep on happening to this medium as time progresses. Also, show is fine, good humor, and a unique art style that plays in the favor, but isn't favorable enough to be a primordial watch, as my previous points stand for. Favorite? No. Secret Saturdays. A loper dedicated their life to the study and protection of wildlife. However, after a successful expedition in the Himalayas was interrupted by an earthquake that broke an ancient stone that freed a course that made new and all kinds of kids get loose in the wild, I think. Times passed on, and the world adapted to this phenomena, and in between a child was born, Zack Saturday, a cryptid mind reader that along his parent, cryptid pals, and a few first gamers traveling through the globe, Zack will do all in his might to defend these creatures. Really cool story-driven show. One can get really attached with a bunch of characters, and the art direction plus designs are a killer. A pretty great watch, but surprisingly lacks potential. I want to defend it, I really do. Yet looking back at many other shows with a similar premise, like I have, you realize it lacks in a lot of fields, like lacks character stigma, involvement of characters, higher stakes, has excessive kidnapping attempts of the allies to make Zack look good, and many more that are invisible to the naked eye, were still there that are hard to look past when you know enough. Which when compiled one after the other, till you can look away. Favorite? Yes. Oscar Oasis. Alice named Oscar, unknown who named the cast, or his F name, tried to survive the deadly desert heat before succumbing to dehydration or hunger. But after monarchy bullies will step on his way every chance they get, mostly out of boredom. First CGI slapstick humor as out, so feels rotten nostalgic, where from afar doesn't look any special. We suggest to watch at least a few on your own, as even if he doesn't use or show anything new, the animation is deserving of an award in and out of its time. For it? Yes. I am Whistle. The perfectionist and miraculous fulfilled Whistle is loved by all, but one single individual. Baboon, an empty-headed, heroic wannabe that you can't tolerate someone who will always be good at everything he's horrible at. So out of jealousy, always tries to get in Whistle's way, or still gets in accidentally, and make a mess at everything. But even if he gets into his nerve, Whistle still knows he's trying, and knows that what matters is doing the right thing, even if they don't deserve it and won't pay off after. More morally guided than what I remember, but still used as method of an execution. Nothing really taken too seriously. A novel exaggeration of expression that is too entertaining to pass, yet perhaps enough to get into your nerves too. It's debatable if watchable or just another oda tema de Looney you know who. For it? No. Space Wolves. A not so sophisticated bunch of aliens were doing tourism around the universe, till reaching a drastic haul for exhausted gas, crashing down and getting stranded in the doomed place imaginable, Earth. So now they need to use their primary technology and resources to find a way to live while going undercover to not raise suspicion and get kicked out of the housing cell they are hiding in. The expression and even animation are top quality, jokes land more often than not, and dynamics are fine, but hard to recommend if you didn't group what is type of humor and no grotesque designs. As they check the dynamics, interactions, and even use time expressive emotion, we committed dull or straight up atrocious. For it? No. And that will be the last bit for now. But really closing finishing the video way sooner, we know they can anticipate events in person or online that can take weeks to resolve. So one needs to prioritize and not adjust. You're still happy with the result and reaching the result. So as always, hope you can share your feedback on the video or what you can expect in the future. Feel free to check out any other of my socials, what else I have posted in the channel, and hopefully for the next one, can fulfill a personal goal that I'm very sure you will be happy about. So, nothing else to add. Hope you have a good day. From the heart.